The year is 2024, a time of great advancements and profound uncertainties. The world is a web of interconnectedness. Economies, cultures, and lives are intertwined. Every action in one corner of the globe can ripple across continents, affecting millions. Yet beneath this fragile facade, tensions simmer. The echoes of past wars whisper warnings, reminding us of the ever-present dangers lurking in the shadows. We have known peace for decades, but history reminds us, peace is a precious and fragile thing. It requires constant vigilance and effort to maintain. Since the horrors of World War II, humanity has walked a tightrope. The threat of nuclear annihilation has been a dark cloud, but it has also been a deterrent. This delicate balance has kept us from the brink. The fear of mutually assured destruction helped prevent another global conflict, but old hatreds die hard. The scars of history are deep and often resurface. New rivalries emerge. The seeds of discord are sown. Nations vie for power, influence, and resources, sometimes at the expense of global stability. The world has changed since the last World War. Technology has given us unimaginable power. Innovations that once seemed like science fiction are now reality. Weapons have become more sophisticated, more deadly. Cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, and autonomous weapon systems add new dimensions to conflict. The battlefield is no longer just physical, it is digital and psychological. The potential for destruction is greater than ever before. Can we escape the mistakes of the past? Or will we be consumed by our own creations? Or are we doomed to repeat the cycles of history? The answers lie in our choices, in our willingness to learn from the past and build a better future. Education and awareness are our best defenses. The future is not yet written, but the clock is ticking. Every moment counts in shaping the world we want to live in. The ghosts of past wars haunt our present, lingering in the shadows of our collective memory. From the battlefields of Europe to the remote islands of the Pacific, the scars of conflict remain etched in the landscape. Millions perished, their lives cut short by the horrors of war. Cities were reduced to rubble and entire communities were wiped out. The human cost of war is immeasurable. Families torn apart, lives shattered, and yet we seem unable to escape its pull, repeating the same mistakes. Look around. The world is awash in weapons, with stockpiles growing and the arms trade flourishing. Nuclear arsenals still cast a long, ominous shadow over our future. Military spending spirals out of control, diverting resources from vital needs. Countries engage in saber-rattling and brinkmanship, pushing the world closer to the edge of conflict. We have learned to wage war with words as well as weapons, with rhetoric often as damaging as bullets. Propaganda and disinformation campaigns sow discord and distrust, undermining the fabric of societies. The rise of nationalism and populism fans the flames of division, creating an us versus them mentality. Economic inequality creates resentment and instability, breeding grounds for conflict and unrest. Climate change fuels resource scarcity and mass migration, exacerbating tensions and sparking new conflicts. The very foundations of global stability are eroding, leaving us vulnerable to crises on multiple fronts. We stand at a crossroads. One path leads to cooperation, diplomacy, and peace, where nations work together for a better future. The other to confrontation, conflict, and potentially annihilation, where the specter of war looms large. The choice is ours to make. The future is in our hands. It begins, as wars often do, with a misunderstanding, a miscalculation. A border skirmish escalates, a cyber attack cripples critical infrastructure. Accusations fly, followed by threats and ultimatums. Fear and mistrust reignite old hatreds. Alliances forged in times of peace are tested. Some nations hesitate, wary of being drawn into a conflict not of their making. Others, bound by treaty or driven by ambition, pledge their support. The world divides into camps, the lines drawn in sand. Social media explodes, a cacophony of fear, anger, and misinformation. Governments scramble to control the narrative, but the truth is already lost in a sea of propaganda. The fog of war descends, obscuring reality and fueling the flames of conflict. Section 4: A World Engulfed. What begins as a regional conflict quickly spirals out of control. Modern warfare is swift and merciless. Hypersonic missiles streak across continents, delivering their deadly payloads in minutes. Drone swarms darken the skies, guided by artificial intelligence that knows no fear or remorse. Cities, once symbols of human achievement, become battlegrounds. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, their lives upended, their futures uncertain. The global economy, so interconnected, collapses like a house of cards. Supply chains break down, food and medicine become scarce. Cyber warfare cripples communication networks, plunging nations into darkness. Banks fail, markets crash. The fabric of society, already strained, begins to unravel. Fear and paranoia grip the world. Section 5. Whispers of Annihilation. As the conflict escalates, a new and terrifying threat emerges: the use of tactical nuclear weapons. What was once unthinkable becomes all too real. The initial blasts, though limited in scope, shatter the taboo. The world holds its breath. The use of nuclear weapons, even on a small scale, has catastrophic consequences. Radiation poisoning spreads, leaving a legacy of death and disease. The delicate balance of power maintained for decades through fear and deterrence is broken. The unthinkable becomes the inevitable. One by one, other nuclear powers feel compelled to respond, to demonstrate their strength, to protect their interests. The doomsday clock ticks closer to midnight. The whispers of annihilation grow louder. Section 6. A World in Ruins. In this chapter we delve into the aftermath of a catastrophic event that has left the world in utter devastation. In the aftermath, there are no victors, only survivors. These individuals, once part of thriving communities, now wander through the remnants of their former lives. The planet, once teeming with life, is scarred and broken. Nature itself seems to mourn the loss, with dead trees and cracked earth as far as the eye can see. Cities lie in ruins, haunted by the ghosts of millions. The once bustling streets are now silent, echoing the memories of a vibrant past. The air is thick with smoke and ash, making it difficult to breathe. Every breath is a reminder of the destruction that has taken place. The stench of death lingers, a constant reminder of the lives lost. The once vibrant ecosystems are now graveyards. Radiation sickness spreads like a plague, leaving countless victims in its wake. Makeshift hospitals struggle to cope with the influx of the sick and dying. Crops fail, leading to widespread famine. The land that once provided sustenance now yields nothing but dust and despair. Clean water becomes a luxury few can afford. People are forced to drink from dirty puddles, risking disease and further suffering. The very foundations of civilization crumble. Bridges and buildings that once stood as symbols of progress now lie in ruins. Those who survive face a bleak and uncertain future. They huddle around small fires, scavenging for whatever supplies they can find. The world they once knew is gone, replaced by a desolate wasteland. Villages that once thrived are now nothing but empty shells. The bonds of community, so essential for human survival, are shattered. People turn on each other, driven by desperation and fear. Trust is a distant memory. Hope seems lost. The streets, once filled with life, now echo with the silence of despair. Section 7. The Choice Before Us. This is one possible future, a cautionary tale for all of us, but it is not inevitable, not set in stone. We have the power to choose a different path, to break the cycle of war and violence that has plagued humanity for millennia. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the ability to resolve it peacefully. It requires empathy, understanding, and a willingness to compromise. It demands that we see beyond our differences and recognize our shared humanity. The future is not preordained. It is a canvas upon which we, the living, paint our hopes and dreams. Let us choose wisely, let us choose peace,